Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Shelved. So this is it. This is the first episode. I got my friend Eric Zisselman to sit down and talk to me about our first movie, which is Batman Year One. Yeah, Batman Year One based on the graphic novel, based on the animated film, except I guess technically the script was based on the graphic novel. The animated film was also based on the graphic novel, because the movie script, however, that never got made was quite different from the Batman Year One that we all know. So this script came after 1997. Batman and Robin came out and almost killed the comic book movie. I don't know if you remember, it was pretty much dead until Blade and X-Men came around, and then shortly after Spider-Man 2. But there was no Batman movie since 1997, and this was Warner Brothers trying to reboot the Batman franchise, so they brought in Frank Miller to write a script, because he wrote Year One, one of the most famous Batman books of all time, that completely changed the face of Batman forever, and introduced us to the Dark Batman that we know. Now, this movie was canceled in 2002, and canceled based on the fact that it was just too dark. It was just, it's bleak. But interestingly enough, it did get a director, Darren Aronofsky, who was a really interesting choice for a Batman movie, and that's the thing alone that would really make me want to see this version of the movie, a Darren Aronofsky Batman movie. I don't know if you've seen Black Swan, but that's a trippy-ass movie. Imagine that with Batman. But yeah, so we sat down to talk about this movie. The script is out there. It's similar to the comic, but it differs in just a variety of ways that we'll talk about on the podcast. And I feel like this is a really good first episode. It's, everybody knows Batman. It's a big thing right now with Batman v Superman. We kind of talk a little bit about that kind of stuff. And I just feel like we had a great conversation. And this is exactly how I want the podcast to be, just conversations. And we kind of go all over the place, and it leads from one thing to the other. But we cover all the ground I wanted to cover. I feel like it's a really good demonstration of what this podcast is going to be and what I want it to be. And I really look forward to people hearing it and hearing the reaction, and hopefully I'm doing the right thing here, but I really think everybody's going to enjoy it. So this is our first one. It goes a little long, it goes about an hour, and I assume a lot of them will probably go that long. I guess we'll find out in the coming episodes. But I hope you enjoy it. I know I certainly enjoyed recording it, and I really look forward to doing the next ones and for everyone to hear the next ones, but I just want to introduce you to our first episode. So this is us talking about the unmade Batman Year One. It's me, your host, Jeremy Meyer, along with my friend Eric Zisselman.
This is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I'm just holding a microphone.
Yeah, I would like to get what are they called? Like
stand or something.
Like they came with clips, but nothing to plug them into.
Right.
So.
No, you know what? I've seen.
You're gonna have to hold it a little closer.
I've seen. I've seen Tim and Eric where they wear like this thing, like it's a hanger around their neck, and there's a microphone that just sticks right there. So that's pretty.
Yeah, these are way better microphones than what they are than that kind of stuff, though. These are expensive.
I got my draft over here. This is what I came out with, and then.
Yeah, this guy was showing me up. I wasn't taking notes, and then I was talking to him. He was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm reading. I'm taking notes." I'm like, "Fuck, man, I'm gonna have to start getting more prepared."
Yeah, I mean, just little things that I wanted to fucking remember. Like, dude, there's just the one phrase. No, we're not. I
mean, I'm recording, but
okay. No, the one phrase that
that's
blew
perfect
my
right
mind
there.
was instant tracheotomy.
Yeah,
I was like, that's fun.
There's a lot of things that blew my mind about this script, honestly. So this is the first script you've ever read.
Yeah.
And how did that treat you? It's pretty different from your average screenplay.
Yeah. Usually, I've gone through all, how many? 6, 7? No. 5 of the Game of Thrones. So I mean,
yeah.
And I enjoy reading like lore and stuff like that. So it was interesting reading the narrator, I guess the writer, as he's breaking down the actual scene. So that kind of that was just pretty cool and different than listening to or reading a character that's, I mean...
Yeah, a lot of things with scripts like this, like ones that never actually saw the light of day, because they're usually early drafts that you're reading, there's a lot more like lore and backstory in the script than you would see in your average screenplay. I gave Maggie the Star Wars rough draft that George Lucas did before he did the movie. Like, every page is like a book almost. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I'd be interested in checking that out.
Yeah, I mean, I can send that one your way, too.
Cool.
But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know about this movie that didn't happen.
No, about the movie, I don't know too much about. I actually did some background reading about it.
Yeah, because I gave you the option.
Right.
I told you didn't have to, but
about like Aronofsky and what he wanted to do, and then what happened, and reading it myself, I could understand why it would have a hard time getting greenlit.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading something earlier today, and literally the quote was, the studio rejected it because they wanted to be able to take their kids to it, and this movie was just too dark.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And if you know anything about Frank Miller, I mean, The Dark Knight Returns is obviously super dark in year one. Mm-hmm. A lot of his Batman writing, he basically creates a homicidal Batman almost. Yep. All-Star Batman and Robin, if you ever read that book, it's kind of famous because it has this one line that's kind of about Batman meeting Robin for the first time, and it has the line, "Are you retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman." And it's him talking to Robin. Like, awesome. He basically... Robin in that version of the story is like Stockholm Syndrome. Like, he basically breaks down this kid into, like, he has no choice but to join him.
Well, I mean, that seems pretty realistic, you know? If you wanted to have some teenager running around with you, you better break his ass down so he's not constantly...
And that's the thing with Frank Miller.
Questions and stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, Frank Miller created Year One, which created the dark Batman that we know today, and he's actually gone on to say he kind of regrets it because, like, now that's how just all comics are, and he's like, man, I kind of fucked up by taking all the joy out of it, but I mean, he's still doing it. So.
Yeah, not much you could do about that. I mean, you know, it's hindsight. He created an amazing piece of work, and then everyone's kind of piggybacking it. So
in Year One is one of my favorite Batman books. I'm not like a huge fan. I know it's kind of blasphemous to say, but I'm not a huge fan of The Dark Knight Returns. I like it. I actually kind of like the animated movie a little better because of the way it kind of treats the material.
Definitely.
But it's just a little too dark and crazy for my like. Year One is tame enough.
Yeah.
But even this movie version is a lot darker than the book.
Yeah.
And honestly, you see elements of Year One in Batman Begins. Like, Year One ends with him being in the fucking burned out building, and the police are like the main bad guys of the book. And Batman Begins kind of takes that and just adds a villain into it. Like, you got Ra's al Ghul, which there's no real villain in Year One. And it's kind of the same thing with the script. There's no real villain.
Well, it's like, it's the city, basically.
Yeah, it's the police.
What, Commissioner Loeb?
Yeah, I guess Commissioner Loeb would kind of be the main villain, but and there's no real final encounter with Batman and a main villain. It's Gordon and Loeb who end up coming down to it at the end. But some of the things just kind of stood out to me. I mean, this is not a Batman that anyone has ever seen before. Even coming from Year One, it's totally different. Like, he's an orphan, and he's just like I can't remember. Do they actually show his parents killed in the beginning?
No.
Or
they
just kind of jump into
it.
Yeah, like later on, kind of like the Tim Burton movie they showed you later on.
Exactly. I was blown away that, you know, he's writing letters to his father.
Yeah.
That honestly we don't even know.
You know, because you know Batman, but like the common viewer might be like, who the fuck is he talking to?
Exactly. And there were points when I was reading it, and I thought to myself, I have it written down that. You know, he's got the mentor with little Al. I'm sure we'll get to him.
Yeah.
But no other Batman uses the father as like a motivating factor. Well, what am I talking about? Oh, I guess as a motivating factor as he's writing constant letters to him, and we never have this point of view from his father. And I don't know if his father would have wanted him to actually take revenge for him.
And I think that's something they've touched on in the comics with Alfred, kind of like, you know, does your parents really want you for this? They want you to live a happy life and blah, blah, blah. And, like, they give you a little motivation. Like, they give you a relationship with Batman, Bruce and his father in Batman Begins.
Right.
But they really don't tell you anything about his parents in this script.
Absolutely
nothing. And, like, you don't, like, we know he's Bruce Wayne. They never, I mean, it's just like the whole point of the script is basically him coming back and becoming Bruce Wayne again. Because, like, the movie ends with him finally... Because they keep talking throughout the movie of, the missing Wayne boy.
Exactly.
And, like, we all know it's Bruce Wayne. I don't know, like, reading the script if the average viewer would kind of pick up on it. I mean, I guess he would because he gets the ring that has the TW. Is that what it is? Which is where the bat symbol comes from.
I hated that.
Yeah, that was weird. But I will say, you said you didn't see Batman v Superman?
No, I saw it. I mean, I watched the downloaded copy on my 13-inch monitor. I wasn't, I'm working, so I didn't really pay that much attention. It's going to be on HBO soon, so, I mean, I'm going to give it another legit go.
Yeah.
But,
maybe don't watch the extended version.
I didn't throw myself into it as if I would have.
Yeah. Well, one thing they do in the movie, which I wonder if they actually got from the script, I don't know if anyone even noticed or if it's just coincidence, is the branding thing. Like in the movie, he brands people.
Yep.
And honestly, in the movie, in Batman v Superman, like when they first introduced it, I'm like, that's kind of a cool thing because like you're branding these prisoners and you're like, these are the fucking assholes. But then in Batman v Superman, they take it in a whole different direction of like, people are getting killed because of this bat brand. It's like, Batman wouldn't do that.
Right.
Because then he's leading to people's deaths and blah, blah, blah. But I kind of like the idea that it reappears in this script. And I do wonder if there's a correlation between that and Batman v Superman.
Right.
But I mean, it's very different in Batman v Superman. Like, but the idea is the same.
No, absolutely. I thought, when I read about him having that ring, that his father gave him, fine, that's cool. He's got something that his father gave him that we, of course, never saw. The passing of this heirloom, and
try to keep the mic.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, your voice just keeps trailing it.
No, my bad. So the thing that I noticed in the that I saw in the cartoon and the comic was that one scene where he's in his mansion. Yeah. And he's dying.
Yeah.
After
he goes out and he gets stabbed and then like in the year one he gets stabbed and some cops take him and he ends up escaping back to his mansion. He's laying there bleeding to death basically.
He's sitting in the chair. He's looking at a bust of his father.
Yeah.
And he's asking him, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And he's got the bell right next to him, and he says, I could call Alfred right now, and this could all be over. He could fix me up.
Yeah.
But the gift you've given me, Alfred.
Yeah.
But what am I supposed to do? And I feel like that was such an iconic, amazing scene in the cartoon, in the comic book, and you're just waiting, and then in the comic, the fucking bat
comes busting through the window.
And it fucking
and
lands
defined
on
Batman forever.
It's amazing. It lands on the bust, and he looks at it. He's like, "Yes, I know now what I'm supposed to do."
Yeah.
And then you just hear the ding, ding, ding,
which was created by Frank Miller.
There you go.
That's not in this script.
No, it is not. And I was so disappointed because I want to see that iconic scene.
Yeah,
in
and
a
he
movie.
just kind of decides out of nowhere.
Exactly. And, you got yourself this all-star director in Aaron Aronofsky, and I'm sure he could make it incredible. And it doesn't even have to be that different from the cartoon that I saw.
No.
And, they take it away by him just punching some dude in the head. Yeah. Guy says, like, I have a bat thing on my face
it's like
now.
the news or something. And he's like, he hears a news report that they say, he's got like a bat icon from the ring.
And I feel like he just looks at the TV and he probably smirks to himself. He's like, now I know what I'm the Batman, and I'm like,
and
fuck. Come on.
Yeah, that was one of those moments that I literally was just kind of dropped. I was reading on my iPad. I kind of dropped and like, what?
Yeah, I mean, where is the symbolism? Batman is so much symbolism.
This movie would have lacked a lot of that.
Yeah,
it seems
absolutely.
It definitely seems like there's a lot more Gordon going on because Bruce Wayne, honestly, in this movie is a very silent character to other characters. There's a lot of voiceover. You can clearly tell it's written by a comic writer.
Very brooding.
Yes, very brooding. A ton of voiceover, but Bruce barely actually speaks to anybody. It's usually Alfred speaking to him, or Big Al, Little Al,
Little Al,
speaking to him. which we'll have to get to that soon.
Sure.
And he just kind of like nods or just ignores him, and there's just a lot of implied dialogue between the two. But he's like, when he's actually speaking to people, which he probably has the most lines with Catwoman, it's like one or two things, like ever.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I feel like if you had the right actor, you know, he would be able to convey...
They were looking at Christian Bale. Okay. Christian Bale kind of retained from this movie onto Batman Begins.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I mean, I've always been a fan of Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Hands down.
You know, I mean, me nitpicking about his Batman is irrelevant.
The Batman voice shit, I could care less.
Yeah,
I think all those movies are great. Yeah.
If you're realistic, you want to hide your voice a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know,
even
of course,
what's his name from the cartoon? Blanking on his name. Kevin Conroy, who did Batman in the animated series. His Bruce Wayne and his Batman had different voices, and he should. Michael Keaton.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was a little more like, I don't want to say flamboyant, but like airy as Bruce Wayne, a little more light, whereas Batman would be brooding like this. Bruce would be like, "Hi guys, how you doing?"
Yeah,
like,
okay, but there was no like change in like
not drastically, no. And Keaton did it too. There was a slight difference in Keaton's voice.
Moved it a little bit too, but I enjoyed. You know, I mean, as unrealistic as it is, I enjoy hearing the Michael Keaton speaking as, I guess, Bruce Wayne and Batman, the same guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always enjoyed that part of it. But, I mean, just looking at my notes, going back to the just a little blurb I wrote here, if his transformation is sparked by a ring, and then I had in parentheses, Bat brand, lame as fuck. Where is my breaking through the glass?
Yeah, there's just nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to rack my brain for any, like, what's that standout imagery in the movie? There's just, like, not a lot of anything that stands out. And I understand that could be hard to convey on a page. That is the director's job.
Exactly.
That's the cinematographer's job. But I've read other scripts, and there are definitely things that you can picture. They're like, oh, that would be an iconic scene. But in this, his first draft, early draft, maybe. I don't know how many times he wrote this. I assume he was paid, wrote this, turned it in, and that was it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's nothing that was standing out. I was like, oh, there's that moment, you know.
I did feel like I was reading a comic book sometimes. Yeah. You know, it would have helped if there were like pictures in front of me.
Yeah, which he's very descriptive in his screenplays. Like, some people will be like, let's take a fight scene or whatever. Some people will, like, he details out some actual moves and stuff. Some people will just be like, oh, they fight, Batman gets the upper hand. Right. And it's up to the director or the choreographer to kind of do that.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about, because this kind of made me laugh, his bat suit. So let's talk about his suit and his equipment in general.
Yeah.
So he works in a garage. Like, so, I guess we have to start here.
Okay.
In this script, Bruce Wayne is an orphan who works at a garage with a little Al, who is a small black man.
I think so.
Yeah, and he owns the garage, and somehow Bruce fell in with these people. We never really find out how.
Absolutely.
He's just been taking care of them on the street. He's really good with tools and as a mechanic, which fine. That checks out.
Yeah.
And
did he have some medical knowledge? I remember that Batman. No, he did actually, because Batman had
his father was a doctor. He had
scars on him, and you know, he was saying how you always mess yourself up when you stitched yourself.
Oh,
I do believe there was
they do
stitching
say that
scene where he tried to help him.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much background knowledge. You said his father was a doctor.
Well, in the comic, I mean, it's Dr. Thomas Wayne has always been his father.
Right.
But no, you are right. That scene, I did forget about that scene.
Okay.
But as far as his training goes, in this, it's all self-taught from the library. Yeah. Like, there's literally a scene where he goes and checks out a bunch of books.
Right.
And that's where he learns everything.
I mean, that is, I guess, realistic. And
I mean, yeah. I thought Batman Begins he trains to become a ninja, whatever.
Right.
But I mean, Batman's always been a world traveler. Even in year one, it's like him coming back to the city is how it starts after traveling the world.
That's the thing. I mean, he sheds all his wealth.
Yeah.
That's why
as a child.
Right. He has to go to the fucking library and get books on judo.
And he puts together a bat suit out of stuff he just buys from a store, and then they just later say, oh, now he's got like an armored bat suit. No explanation
I couldn't picture it because the whole time I thought
There is some concept art out there for this movie.
Okay.
Very little.
Right.
Some concept art of the car, which is basically just a car he throws together in the garage.
I mean, it sounds. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds badass.
And the concept art was pretty
Lincoln
cool.
Continental.
Yeah.
With the fucking.
Very like
with the
old school
grating on the
60s
front.
Batman.
Right. It sounds pretty sweet. I
Yeah.
mean, and him busting through walls and putting chains on his car to rip doors off, which was.
Yeah.
When I read that sounded incredible. When he pulled a 180 and fucking hits the door.
Yeah.
Steel door into the
There's
bad guys.
there's some cool stuff with the car.
But going back to his all of his gear, he sounded like Casey Jones on steroids.
Yeah. There's okay, so this made me laugh. There's literally a moment where they say his suit has hockey pads in it,
Yep.
which just made me think of The Dark Knight when
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads.
No, absolutely.
And I just keep wondering, did these fuckers have this, like, were they making fun of this script when they made these future movies?
That sounds about right. I mean,
Knowing that Bale went from one to the other, maybe some stuff carried over.
definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if who's the director? Christopher Nolan. I wouldn't be surprised if he had like another script. That script as a reference, just going off a little bit and then trying to pull.
Because
some
I'm trying to
things off.
remember when this was going to happen. Because Batman and Robin was 1997. Basically, fucking killed the superhero movie for
Right.
years until like Blade, I think, was the next one that brought it back, and then X-Men and Spider-Man were like right there.
Right.
And then Batman Begins, I think, was 2004.
I can't confirm, but
I'm pretty sure.
nodding for the people.
So I want to say this was probably early 2000s.
Yeah,
Like
that
2000,
sounds about
2001
right.
maybe. Because they were also working on a Batman and Superman movie for 2002, I think. And then there was also a Justice League movie being made around. I have scripts for all these as well.
Right.
These will be future episodes.
Sure.
So I want to say that was all around the same time.
Right. You know, it'd be real interesting to see what would have happened with those movies.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't have as much CG as we
Yeah.
do now, so it would have been more realistic and more intimate.
Yeah, because I mean, it
to
was
see
like
those.
Star Wars that kind of brought in these full CG movies, and I think Episode 2 was the first one that was like, this movie's almost entirely CG,
Right.
and that was like 2002.
Nah, you're probably right about that. But I was gonna say about the hockey pads. I've been playing hockey for over like 20 years.
Yeah.
And no fucking way am like just some knee pads, some elbow pads.
It's
a
really
chest
laughable.
protector. Yeah, it sounds laughable because if someone's coming at me with a knife, I better have fucking memorized those books that I got at the library.
Yeah.
So I protect myself from dying.
And there's a lot of they describe him as almost like a Frankenstein's monster at some point, that he's been just beat up so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it seems like it's like an every night thing for him. Like as soon as he kind of starts going out, it's just that's what he's doing. There's a huge chunk of the movie where we don't see Little Al at all,
Right.
until he's like stitching himself up in that scene you were mentioning,
Right.
And he comes back and just like immediately okay with whatever he's doing. Doesn't really try to talk him out of it or anything, and is just willing to help him.
I think he gives him like one of these one of these speeches where it's kind of like you do you. I know you have to go out and I guess be yourself and find your own peace.
Yeah.
But I know
it's
Little
not
Al wasn't
that different from how Michael Caine is in like the first two.
Yeah.
Or like in the first one, like Michael Caine, obviously in Dark Knight Rises is at the point where like you need to fucking stop. Like
Right.
this is getting ridiculous. But in Batman Begins, he's kind of like, yeah, you might be an idiot, but you got to do what you got to do.
Oh shit! He's enjoying himself in Batman
Yeah.
Begins.
Even
He's
in
on
The Dark Knight
fucking-
a little bit.
He's on the fucking boat with the Russian ballerinas.
Yeah.
Just having a good time.
That was Dark Knight.
That was Dark Knight. Oh,
Yeah,
what,
the boat, because that's when he leaves to go to China.
What were you talking about then?
Well, in the first two.
Okay.
It is the first
Yeah,
two.
then-
He's
yeah,
a
that
little
was my
more
bad.
into it.
I-
Yeah,
I
no.
moved it around. Well, he tells him to fill up the rolls. Make
Yeah.
sure you just fill up the rolls.
Because technically everything was in his name because he was dead or whatever.
So, yeah, and he's got to bring him back from the dead, so
Yeah.
all kinds of BS. But listen, Alfred sounded, for a little bit, Alfred got a kick out of what was going on.
Yeah.
He was living the life of luxury while Bruce is out fucking with Ra's al Ghul being
and
ninja.
they toss some jokes back and forth,
Yep.
which is something this movie is completely void of.
There are
There's
no jokes.
no fucking like how everyone talked about Man of Steel and Batman v Superman
Right.
as very serious movies. This movie would have been dour.
I feel like if there were any jokes, it must have come from like the pimp or I don't even know, even, like Flass maybe or something like that.
Yeah, even reading it, like, I can't think of anything that, maybe an actor could have made this funny.
Right.
Like, maybe there's something that might play serious on the page, but the way they deliver it, like, this thing reads so serious.
Absolutely. And
yeah, the main villains are, like, pimps and cops. So
another thing that I thought was going with the darkness, the dream sequence, where he was dreaming, of course. And I wrote down that the dream sequence is great, especially the blood that splatters across young Bruce's face. I thought it was
I'm trying to remember the dream sequence.
Visceral feeling that it gave me.
What was the dream sequence? I'm trying. It's been a few days since I read this.
No, for me too.
Yeah.
The dream sequence. I mean, he's just asleep, and he's walking out of the theater that we all know. He sees Zorro
that's
with
kind
his
of where
parents.
that's like halfway through the movie where they kind of finally show you
exactly.
the death of his
they show you a bit of an origin.
Which, man, they totally kind of ripped that off for Batman v Superman too.
Yep.
There's a fucking dream sequence where he's at their sarcophaguses or whatever, and the fucking blood comes gushing out of it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't recall all that because I was just kind of fucking doing my thing while it was on.
It's not a very good movie.
No, I hear you. I mean, yeah, that's how most people feel. I want to watch it, and I don't know.
I watched it 3 times. I watched it. We put it on here. Chris was watching it. We didn't make it through the second time.
Right.
We were halfway through, and Chris was like, "What the fuck?" He
Yeah,
turned
Chris
it off.
came back. He was like, "This movie fucking sucks."
Yeah,
so.
and then I watched the extended version, which I think made some things better, some things worse.
Okay. Let's. What did you think of Gordon?
I liked Gordon.
Yeah. Man, that guy was depressing, huh?
Yeah. Which Gordon in the Year One book is a little depressing as well, but he takes a stand. And I feel like it happens a lot earlier in the book than it does in the script. Like, the script is literally like the last 10 pages. It's like the confrontation with Loeb, which is kind of anticlimactic. This thing just fucking ends. And like, the last kind of encounter is a little bit of nothing.
Yeah, I don't recall the ending so much, which
it's
really
it's the
not
building.
good.
They burn out the building.
Okay.
And Batman fucks up some dudes in there and escapes through the sewers. And then it cuts to Gordon. Like, Loeb is taking his family, and Gordon
takes
runs.
His wife.
Yeah.
And, it takes his wife, and Batman, who doesn't have any of his gear on anymore, I guess.
Yeah, Gordon straight up... he has his helmet or whatever gets knocked off. And does Gordon kill Loeb then? Is that how it ended?
Well, I recall... No, I think it was Batman that took a knife and...
he hit him in the eye.
Hit him in the eye.
Yeah.
And then, the guy goes down... I'm pretty sure he still lived.
I think so. I don't think they even clarify.
Right.
Well, no, they do say there is a newscast afterwards where they say that all these cops are getting arrested and that Loeb is said to be at the head of it. So I guess there's some implication there that he's still alive. Which Bruce straight up has no mask during that scene, so I guess Loeb could have seen his face. But
that's true.
They don't really cover that.
An eye, so that doesn't help. But I remember,
but Gordon says he can't see him because he doesn't have his glasses.
Yeah, I'm blind without my glasses. So that's a wink to actually. I believe that definitely happened in the cartoon, and I don't know if it happened in the comic.
I don't believe it did. I don't think it did.
But in the cartoon, I remember that it wasn't even Loeb. It was some mob boss's
son.
The
cops, like Loeb, I don't even know if he's a minor character in the comic. It's mostly, is it Flass is the other cop? It's mostly Gordon and Flass kind of butting heads.
Right.
And Loeb is just implied he's sided with Flass and kind of tells Gordon to sweep it under the rug. There's a lot more Loeb. They make Loeb the main bad guy in the movie, which was not the case in the book. Because in the book, it was just about dirty cops and the mob. There's no mob stuff in this script.
They had the mayor stuff.
Yeah, it's because Gordon goes to the mayor and he's trying to start an investigation, and the mayor's with
Loeb.
To Loeb, and that's kind of there's no real mob stuff in the movie, because in the book I can't even remember if it's Maroni who's the main mob guy in the books for a long time.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's like Batman crashes their dinner party type situation, which is another iconic moment from the book that was completely missing from the movie.
In the book and in the cartoon was fucking awesome, because he breaks in, he's got smoke, everyone's freaking out, lights are off, and then he gives this awesome he gives them
not like a speech, but a warning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we're kind of jumping around here, but getting back to the ending of the cartoon when Bruce jumps off the bridge to catch his son, or what's his Gordon's son, his infant son, and then I guess I don't know. I guess he hits the water, and then he pulls his son out. And then he tells him. And then he tells him, he's like, I can't see without my glasses. And then they give a handshake thing, and then they have mutual respect for one another. Yeah. But I tell you, there's so much with Gordon in the comic and in the cartoon. His narration in his own head. Yeah. He's speaking. Which there's
a little Gordon narration in the script. Not much.
Right,
there's so much Batman narration. Yeah. But a little Gordon narration. So much so that, like, when it happened, I was like, oh, there's actually two narrators here. It's kind of weird. Just because they hadn't really done it before. It's like 3/4 of the way through the script, you finally get a little bit of Gordon's thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that stood out huge for me was that Gordon turns out to be suicidal.
Yeah.
In this movie, which... I mean,
they've definitely taken Gordon to dark places in the books, but never like suicidal.
I mean,
I remember.
He's got the gun in his mouth.
Yeah, literally. It's like Lethal Weapon with Martin Riggs, like sitting there with a gun in his mouth and a bullet in it, and just like that happens like multiple times. The only thing that stopped.
Well, I'm sure he wouldn't have pulled the trigger, but his wife is at the door, knocks on the door,
like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Yeah, and then boom, he's like, "Oh shit."
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, he pulls the gun out of his mouth, and he's like, "Yeah, honey, is dinner ready?"
Yeah, you know? It just life goes on. Yeah, I mean, because in year one, it's Gordon coming to, like, he transfers to Gotham and is like, I know this place is a shithole and I kind of want to make it better. Right. And at first he has to kind of play ball. And then he gets jumped by the other cops, which happens in the book. And then in the book, he immediately goes after them to show that he's not fucking scared, and he beats that guy's ass. And that doesn't happen until, like, the end of the movie. There's, like, a huge gap of time in between those encounters in the movie. And to me, it kind of made Gordon look like a pussy.
No, absolutely. I mean, one of the awesome things about the comic and the cartoon was the monologue about him discussing, or him having that thoughts in his head that Flash is a Green Beret. Yeah. I mean, they go through it a little bit. But he's like, I got to watch myself. He throws him the bat. He gives him his own...
Which they do in the script as well. Right, they do the thing where he gives him the bat.
I mean, I think a lot of things in the movie could have turned out really fucking awesome. For the general public, I feel like it wouldn't be great for them. For someone like myself, yourself, where we get such a different, dark version of this, it would be awesome. I mean, just a different view of Batman. And I mean, reading it, I felt like there was a poor flow to the scenes, jumping back and forth.
Because it feels like a comic book. Like, that's the thing.
Well, maybe that's me. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, no, I felt that way. It was actually kind of hard to get through this one because, like, so at the same time, I've been reading Kevin Smith's Superman script, and it reads like a movie. Like, I'm burning through pages. This one was kind of a drag to get through. On top of it being super fucking depressing at all times. Like, when you picture dark in this movie, I'm picturing almost pitch fucking black.
Right.
And it was just kind of hard to get through. Like, I remember I finished it late at night, and I was just like, man, I'm fucking glad to be done reading it.
No, I agree with you. I mean,
but like, I read year one, the comic, like once a year.
Right. I mean, it was the first script I read, and I felt like I wrote here, feels like scenes were jumping too much. Don't like the flow, poor flow.
I mean, scenes will jump in a script. Like, you can definitely, people will handle it differently.
Of course.
It kind of depends on the movie, but definitely because I'm trying to think of what I was reading recently that. Scenes will jump in a movie, but it's what's happening in those scenes.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of points in this movie that feels a little drawn out, and not a lot is happening, and it takes a while to get to, like, kind of the good Batman stuff, and you're just kind of left wanting. I want to talk about medical Batman at some point with, like, the syringes and stuff.
No, go on. I'm not even sure where you're going with it. So
just Batman's gadgets in this. It's, I don't know if you notice, it's a lot more like it's described as being medical based.
Okay.
Because he's using syringes filled with shit on people.
I recall that.
Yeah, like, I can't remember what he gives people, but it's a lot of, like, beating the shit out of someone and then injecting them with something to get them to talk or whatever, like true serum and shit like that.
Yeah, he sounds like I don't know, like a
because
real...
it's supposed to be building on that stuff he learned from the library.
Of course, yeah. And I remember that he checked out the Anarchist Cookbook, which I mean, I could see a scene where he's, you know, at the teller or at the whoever the fuck the book lady
store
is,
clerk or whatever, or the librarian.
The librarian. There you go. When he's checking it out, and the camera like zooms in, passing through, and then boom,
and she even gives him
cookbook.
Yeah, she actually gets freaked out by him and gives him the books for free.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Just bring them back when you're done.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess there's your little bit of comedy. There's your tiny
bit,
I guess,
you know,
and I guess that's the director winking at you that's saying like, yeah, this guy is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and he sounds like a fucking sociopath. Like,
Absolutely.
as you're reading this, like, the way he just kind of like to people, like, he doesn't really answer anybody.
No, he doesn't.
But then when he's Batman, it's like one-liners and fucking kind of little quips towards dudes, and this guy sounds like a fucking maniac.
No, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. Obviously, his parents dying in such a horrific way directly in front of him, but you know.
But they don't even really touch on that affecting him. Like I said, you don't even get the clarification that he is Bruce Wayne until the end. Like, we know because we know who the fuck Batman is. But it's him writing to his father, never mentioning his mother, never mentioning what happened to them.
Right.
Like, you don't get the sense that this affected him at all, and this is why he's doing this.
Yeah, as someone that is just walking into the movie, they're like, who is this fucking crazy guy?
Yeah, why is he doing this? Who is he writing these letters to? What does it mean?
I mean, well, you know, he's writing them to his father. I don't know where he's putting these fucking letters. I don't know who he's sending them to.
He burns them at the end.
Right.
Like, he's putting them in a box. I think they say he puts them in a box. He writes them, seals them, puts them in a box, and at the end he burns the box. Yeah. And that's when they reveal that he's like, oh, they're living in the mansion now, and little Al's like, look at this place, it's so big.
Yeah, no, I recall that. I got a chuckle out of that, you know, when he comes in, and you know, Bruce finally has he's able to muster up like a smirk just at Alfred, and then I could see, you know, fucking boom, credits after a smirk, and
it literally just ends like there.
You know, it blows my mind. A lot of this movie, I get it. I understand why this wasn't made. I really see it after reading the script. But it would be fucking awesome to see it.
Everybody's just like, oh, just do it different, and this is fucking different. Like, if you want different, this is the fucking Batman story for you. But it's like, it's different, but it's the same, and it's the same by the guy who made it different, which is the thing that kind of it's hard to wrap my mind around. Because, Frank Miller's the fucking guy. He wrote Year One. He wrote all this shit and changed Batman forever. And then he made this, and it's got the elements of his story, but it's just all over the place.
Tell me, is this Frank Miller's first attempt at a script?
I believe it is. Okay. I think it is.
And this could potentially be like, what?
Because I want to say, didn't he help direct and write Sin City?
Well, yeah, I know.
He was involved.
Brought to you by, like,
I want to say and I think he directed The Spirit.
Yeah,
and that's why that movie. It's interesting.
Things,
It's interesting. I would recommend watching it, but just know going in that it's fucking weird.
Right.
That's one of those ones I kind of want to revisit. It's got some charm.
It's like
to it.
Dick Tracy running across.
It's like Dick Tracy meets Sin City is a very good way to, because there's no reason at all why it needs to be like Sin City. I think it's just one of those things where Sin City was successful because of the look and blah blah blah. Let's do The Spirit that way, and it just does not justify it. Mm-hmm. And Samuel L. Jackson just plays the weirdest fucking villain.
I mean, what do you expect?
There's just this scene where he's like looking at this petri dish of shit, or like he clones something and it's just fucking this little hand thing or whatever. He's like, that's just plain damn weird. Hey, look at this. Isn't this just plain damn weird? It just keeps like repeating it.
Oh, this is Samuel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and Scarlett Johansson's like his right hand woman or whatever.
Right. Well,
it's a weird fucking movie. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Frank Miller directed that. And I want to say he had something to do with Sin City, but this might have been his first movie that he like wrote.
No, absolutely. Getting back to how crazy. I wish I had the actual fucking writing in front of me. But when Gordon goes to the head doctor at Arkham,
they do go to Arkham,
and he gives him the doctor finally gives a legit like a psychoanalysis on Batman. And
he's just because at this point Gordon is he at one point becomes like a hero cop because from the scene from the book where the guy is like holding someone hostage and he goes in and stops it, and then he becomes the hero cop and they don't want him to be the hero cop, so they put him on this fucking Batman case. And that's when, he goes to Arkham to try to see if he can find out just who the fuck, anything he can learn to help him catch this guy. Like from a psychoanalytic point of view.
Absolutely, yeah. He tells him this guy's never going to stop.
No.
Yeah, the things that happened in his life, it doesn't sound like he's not after anything that is tangible.
No.
You know, it's something that's in his head, and there's nothing. He's gonna never stop. He's the most driven fucking character in all of fucking comics.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's coming from. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at right now, but it's just that's what makes him Batman. And I do think that they did that well in this movie. They show how driven he is.
Yeah, my problem is they just don't justify it. Like, because of the parents thing. We don't know that it's because of his parents. We don't know what his... I mean, you never know what Batman's goal is. His goal is to just do this forever until the day he dies. But yeah, there's just no justification for why.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And they give you very small hints of it, like you know who he is, you know his family died, blah blah blah. But they never tie A to B.
Oh well, besides the dream sequence.
Yeah, which comes in very late in the movie,
right?
And
it's not. I mean, it's not very long.
No,
but,
and it doesn't specifically state like, and like you said, the scene with the bat and the window and the bust, like that was the thing. That's the fucking moment where like Batman is born.
Absolutely.
And in this, it's like, oh, I left a bat symbol on that guy's head. I guess I'm gonna do a bat now.
Yeah,
like Batman Begins justified it perfectly. Like he sees the bat and like. He's just like, I know what I have to do.
Right.
I have to make my enemies afraid of
terror?
Yeah, I'm going to make them afraid of what I'm afraid of. Like they do it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the Batman Begins did it pretty well.
Yeah.
They obviously they don't give you that iconic scene.
No, but they handle it well.
Absolutely.
And this just doesn't really handle it.
You know, I thought Batman's fighting style was really awesome when I
and it sounds brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is in Batman v Superman, like the only good part of that movie is Batman just fucks guys up.
No, absolutely. There's a warehouse scene. I don't think it's the initial one where he's trapped in there, but
No.
Is there a warehouse scene that he's going through?
I definitely remember a warehouse scene.
Okay,
because the scene at the end is just kind of like a projects building that they firebomb.
Right, that I remember.
Yeah, he's just beating up cops in there, which is pretty much taken right from the book.
It felt like, I don't know if you've seen The Raid.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like to me. It feels like Batman almost has like this Tony Jaa type fighting style.
He just like kind of pops out of the shadows and just destroys people.
And fucking knocking teeth
the
out.
way some of the way he dispatches people was described, it almost sounded like they were described as a murder.
Yeah.
But you're just, like, oh, okay, he's still alive.
Absolutely.
But
that's the thing. He broke someone's fucking trachea.
Yeah, and
the guy's not breathing, then he
He had to give him a tracheotomy. It was the fucking knife.
Yeah.
He just fucking stabs him in the throat.
Something.
Yeah.
And then it said it in the script, instant tracheotomy. I was like, holy fuck.
Like, this dude's insane.
I was like, that is the coolest fucking
and that was the most
I've ever seen.
That was the most Frank Miller fucking thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, that definitely brought up memories of, like, Dark Knight Returns. Like, Batman's pretty fucking brutal in those.
Absolutely. When Gordon was in the hospital, we got a small Joker nod. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But
it felt a little pandering to me, but I mean
it's
they
gone.
give you something.
It's
a
a pale man with green hair gets wheeled by.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you get. Which it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine.
And I think there's a few moments like that. None of them are really coming, but I feel like there was definitely a few moments throughout the script that they kind of hint at the bigger Batman world to come.
Yeah. If there was to be a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he gets more than a fucking hockey pads and a fucking goalie mask that he's wearing.
Yeah, which, I mean, the concept art of the final suit does resemble kind of Michael Keaton a little bit. I want to say, I could be wrong. It might be closer to the gray from the Year One comic, because I can picture the car concept art. I can't quite picture the suit concept art, but that is out there.
No, absolutely.
I mean, we've come this far. We haven't even talked about Catwoman yet.
Yeah, I had a little bit written here, and I have a little blurb. I mean, please.
I mean,
give me
there's not a ton to say about her. She's kind of a minor character. I mean, there's definitely different interpretations of Catwoman in the comics. This one, they flat out say she's black.
I like that, actually.
Yeah, and I want to say in Year One, she looks black, but it's kind of nondescript. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I know she's black. I'm
yeah.
looking at
and
the picture.
in different. I don't know if they've really touched on her. I'm sure they have her nationally, because I know in the comics she ends up being the son of some mob, or not the son, the daughter of one of the mob guys, like not Maroney, but maybe Maroney, one of the mob guys, or the guy they call the Roman. So she's probably got some Italian in her or something.
Black Italian.
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, whatever she is. But she was in Frank Miller. She was a prostitute.
Yep.
And she is a dominatrix, and she is in this as well. I want to say maybe because they never really say she's Catwoman in year one. I'm pretty sure. Like I think maybe in the movie, the animated movie, they kind of flat out say it. I want to say in the comic book it might have been a little more open. It's been a while since I've read it. And I think they kind of just distance that, like, that's not Catwoman. This is Catwoman when they continued the comics. But yeah, in this, she's just a black dominatrix. She has a buddy who, that when they did Selena Kyle in The Dark Knight Rises, she had a buddy. Right. And in other forms of the comics, she had a buddy.
She's always got a buddy.
Some little blonde girl. Yeah. And yeah, she doesn't do much in the script. She's kind of in and out at different points. She kind of pops up during one action scene. She's breaking into some mob guy's house.
Yeah, that was at the end, right?
Well, the end is when she's like full Catwoman. Right. Like she's in a suit. Yeah, she's breaking into somebody's house. But there's a scene in the middle where she's yeah,
she's no.
Batman like catches her and like helps her, and then he's like, "Yeah, you're going to jail," and then she escapes.
That scene was the mayor didn't enjoy the prostitutes that
that's right.
He's got a certain taste when it comes to his prostitutes, and I think it was Loeb picked up Selena Kyle.
That's right.
In the car,
and she's like in the room, and there's like a ton of guys in the other room, and she's starting to rob the place.
I don't understand how you just leave. Listen, I'm sure there are lots of prostitutes out there with hearts of gold. And fucking, I could trust you with my life. Yeah. But I'm not going to leave her in my
but in the dirtiest city of all, in like the mayor's house.
She gets the silk bag from the pillowcase. Yeah. Just starts fucking pouring shit
clumsily
in there.
Pouring it in. She gets caught almost immediately.
Absolutely. It was funny to me just reading it. I know it wasn't meant to be funny, but I got a kick out of it. I thought the mayor and Commissioner Loeb do not seem very on top of their shit. No. I mean, they just let things go over their heads, or they think they're so above everything.
And I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they've been running the fucking city and the police for God knows how long. Yeah. They said Batman's not a big deal. Fuck him. Who cares?
Yeah, put the fucking Gordon on this case that nobody really cares about. And then once Batman starts fucking up their shit, it's like, yo, Gordon, what do you got? Right. Like, we need to get this guy.
Yeah, and I thought, that's pretty great. I enjoyed that part.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I know that. I mean, I'm just looking at a few things. It says that one thing that Gordon, I guess, grew up. Well, not grew up, but he's been in Gotham for a long time, and he's been trying to get out of Gotham.
Yeah, which is kind of the opposite in the comics. Right. He comes into Gotham.
Right, to clean it up. Yeah. He's a super cop from his previous precinct. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Then it's like his wife gets pregnant, and then he wants out, I think. Right. Because like he wants to protect his wife. But by that point, he's already so much in the shit.
Yeah, and he's suicidal, so I don't know how much... Yeah. I mean... how much does he want to get out? You know? Really, like, just check really out. Yeah, I mean, fuck
and Gordon in the comics has always gone through different things. Where I'm pretty sure in year one he has an affair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's got because they put him with an attractive partner. Yeah, and two
and then
cops
she ends up. I think his wife ends up leaving him in the comics at some point. Like in different versions of the comics, she leaves or she dies or they're still together. Like Gordon, he's always had his vices. Yeah. And the smoking always plays a big part as well.
Yeah. Hold on. I got something here. It just fucking left. I'm looking at some concept art.
That's the concept art.
And, it looks like, I guess, year one.
Definitely looks like year one.
Gray with, he's got like
the ears that are really fucking weird. Yeah. Oh, I guess there's some Selena Kyle concept art, too. Yeah.
How's that look?
Looks like a cat suit with like a weird... Maybe like a weird Egyptian style headdress.
Yeah, she looks good. She's a cutie. Gordon, he's your typical trench trench
Gordon
coat.
has always looked like Gordon.
I mean, yeah.
Did you see the picture of J.K. Simmons they put out? Because he's doing Gordon in the Justice League.
J.K. Simmons? Oh, yeah, that's a good...
yeah.
That's pretty good.
He looks good. They put out a picture. He looks good.
So, we were talking about who we thought we might cast for...
Yeah.
I mean, who would... You want me to go first?
I mean, you can go first. I honestly didn't put like a ton of thought in this.
I didn't. I mean, me neither. I mean, the first one that came to my mind, I don't even know the guy's name, which is terrible. But he is in Avatar. He's the main bad guy with the flat top. Looks like Guile.
Oh, Colonel Quattridge, I think his name is in Avatar.
Like
I can't. Yeah, I don't. I know the guy.
Right,
I don't.
He was in that Fox show.
The thing is, that's an older
dinosaurs.
guy. This technically would be young Batman.
Yeah,
because I want to say there was a point. I want to say at one point there was going to be a Dark Knight Returns movie, and there was talk about Clint Eastwood playing him.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure how 100% that is.
I mean,
or maybe that was when they were
going
to do because when they were going to do Justice League, it was Armie Hammer who went on to do Lone Ranger.
Right.
And he was in the Facebook movie.
I know the guy. He would be Gordon.
No, he was going to do Batman when they were going to do when George Miller, the Mad Max director, was going to do Justice League. They were going to do Justice League Mortal.
Yeah,
and they had a whole cast. They had a script, and I have the script. And I don't know what happened. The movie got shut down. The same guy who did the documentary on the Kevin Smith movie, he's working on a documentary for the Justice League movie as we speak.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I'm not.
I mean, Armie Hammer, I'm down with that dude.
Are you? All I've seen is Lone Ranger and the name Armie fucking Hammer. I mean, listen,
I haven't.
That's his deal, but I don't know. He seems a bit too clean for me to be
a little bit
to be Bruce.
I mean, in this version, it would not have worked,
right?
But even in Batman Begins, Christian Bale, he's a clean guy.
Oh, totally.
Even when he's in the dirt, he still looks like a fucking handsome devil.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Now, who would you have picked for your Batman?
For Batman for this?
Yeah, for this.
Fuck. Like off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of somebody who's like in like the 2000s.
Well, fuck the 2000s. I'm talking
like current?
Just right now. Yeah, you're how it would have. I'll give you mine, and then as you think about it, I think Jake Gyllenhaal would have been pretty great.
I would totally see a Jake Gyllenhaal Batman movie.
Definitely.
Jake Gyllenhaal's one of those guys that feel like catches so much shit. I think he's a fucking. I always feel like I hear people shit talking Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
I think he's fucking phenomenal.
No, I think he's great too.
And if you haven't seen Nightcrawler, that's one of the best movies
I was just
I've
about
ever seen.
to say, just based off Nightcrawler, he's a little bit more
so
gangly,
fucking,
and he's
so
a creepy
creepy in
fucking
that movie.
guy. And I feel like you put a little bit of muscle on.
Look at him
Jake.
in like Southpaw.
Yeah,
like that version of Jake Gyllenhaal, I could see as
Southpaw.
Batman. Yeah, that's what I said, right?
Southpaw. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I heard it wrong.
No, Southpaw, the boxing movie.
Right.
That he did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he's got some
that.
muscle in that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want a square jaw, kind of.
Yep.
Because I mean, you're gonna see the fucking jaw. That's like all you. That's like when everybody was so pissed off about Ben Affleck. I'm like, I think and he was the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I have no problem with Ben Affleck.
No,
he's
great
as an older, grungier Batman. I thought he's pretty good.
Like for some reason, my mind keeps jumping to Jeremy Renner, but I think he's too pretty boy.
Jeremy Renner,
for Hawkeye from Avengers.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I feel like he's perfect as the army guy in Hurt Locker. He was fucking awesome.
Did you see The Town?
No, I didn't see The Town.
First of all, you should see the fucking Town. That
all
movie's
right,
amazing.
I'll
I lent Chris my Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get it back from him. I lent it to him like a year ago. He still hasn't watched it.
Yeah.
You should just fucking grab it from him and watch
Chris
it.
is a busy man.
Yeah,
definitely. I'll get on that. I hear very good things. That's with Affleck and his brother,
Affleck.
Right?
Is his brother in it? I don't remember if his brother in it. Jeremy Renner's in it. Affleck's in it, and I think that was mine. And what's his name from Mad Men? John Hamm.
John Hamm's
Yeah. He's like the FBI agent tracking him down.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
what's her name? The girl from Weeds, who's kind of in everything now.
The attractive main actress.
Yeah,
she's
like the main actress in that movie.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you just named a bunch of great actors, and
Yeah.
I hear it's very good. It got nominated for a shit ton of awards, didn't it?
I don't remember if it got nominated. If it did, I wouldn't have complained. Yeah. I mean, his next Argo did. So Ben Affleck's a fucking great filmmaker.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But yeah, honestly, I'm having trouble thinking of who did you have any casting ideas for any other character like Selena Kyle?
Well, I mean, I didn't even think about this, but the first thing that comes to my mind is that is that one black chick from what is it? That the new Avengers movie, Civil War. She's hanging out with Black Panther. She has like, what, one line?
Yeah, she says like one thing.
She's just like, "Don't fuck with me."
Yeah.
I mean, she is what? I mean, I know that in the script she's supposed to be 5'9".
Yeah,
like,
she looks a little taller.
Or something. Yeah, this woman is like 6'1". She's like,
but I mean that
honestly
wouldn't matter. But she's like gangly though, like you'd want a cat person to be.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, quietly. Going through the night.
I could see her.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I've heard that she's kind of becoming a big thing now. I don't know her name. That's the first time I've seen her, and like you said, she has one line, so it didn't really jump out to me as somebody I should remember.
Totally. Except for how she looked.
Yeah.
And she's just huge, and I guarantee you she's going to be in that in the new Black Panther movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a character from the comics, so I assume in the Black Panther movie she'll probably have more to do. I don't know much about Black Panther, so
I don't know.
Other than he was fucking awesome in that movie.
I know he's rich, and he's basically Black Batman with
kinda.
Not the dead family.
You know who actually could have been a good choice is the guy who plays Daredevil. Matthew Cox. I could see him as Batman.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Although he doesn't sound that tough. Like even in Daredevil, it's like his voice and stuff. Like I think it works for Daredevil, but it's like he doesn't sound super tough. Or even fucking John Barenthal, who played Punisher. I mean, he's not that far off in Punisher.
John Barenthal.
He was Shane in The Walking Dead, and he played Punisher in Daredevil season 2.
Shane in The Walking Dead. Jesus,
John Barenthal, right? Did I say Shane Barenthal?
Here, I got John Barleycorn.
I'm pretty sure that's his Barenthal is his name.
No, yeah. Who
I actually would have been totally fine with him.
John Barenthal. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see this guy.
Yeah.
He's he wouldn't be bad.
No, he's brooding. You got it.
He doesn't exude the Bruce Wayne though.
No, but I mean, the script doesn't have a lot of Bruce Wayne in it.
There is no fucking GQ'd out Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, like if you want to talk about that, Christian Bale was fucking perfect. Like he was Bruce Wayne and he was Batman.
You know, I do agree with your John Barenthal very much then.
Yeah.
Because he was a great Punisher, incredible Punisher.
Yeah.
That was the best.
I can't wait for his series.
That was the best thing about the whole fucking
Daredevil
series.
season 2, yeah.
But, that's a great idea.
I also like the idea of when they cross over. There's always all these actors always end up crossing over from Marvel to DC or back and forth. I always think that's fun. So I would throw in John Barenthal. I think he'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He could seem young enough. He could seem like a guy in his like late 20s, early 30s. I mean, it's just one of those situations.
He's not jacked.
No, but he could probably get jacked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm down with it.
Yeah, he's got the voice. I could easily see that guy. I'd be scared of that guy in a fucking alleyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was given like that kind of like New York kind of accent in the other one.
In Daredevil.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was one of my favorite characters in The Walking Dead, and I think that dude's going to be incredible. Like he's already doing great stuff. I think he's going to be great. I could easily see that guy as Batman.
Well, yeah, you're nobody in Hollywood until you're a superhero nowadays, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what fucking like? Can you even name me a movie coming out that's not a superhero movie? Like Doctor Strange's next movie I can think of coming out.
Right? Yeah. What? Do you have any thoughts on Doctor Strange?
I think it looks fucking awesome. It looks different.
It looks interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like the effects and stuff look really cool. It looks different.
Right.
That was the thing, because like after Age of Ultron, which I love all the Marvel movies, like even the ones that are kind of considered bad, I still enjoy.
Sure. I enjoy them when I could watch them on FX.
Yeah.
In my room.
Like, am I gonna go out of my way to watch Thor again? Probably not. But I still think Thor's a totally fine movie.
Yeah. It's not bad. Thor 2 kind of. But
I actually like Thor 2 a little better.
Okay.
But I mean, they're both like on the low end for me.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
But like, I love Civil War. I think after Age of Ultron, I was like, man, I'm so fucking tired of comic book movies. Because it was Age of Ultron, and was there another one that came out before that?
Was it
Ant-Man was shortly after.
Ant-Man was great.
Yeah, and that was the thing. So like Age of Ultron, I'm like, I think I'm kind of tired. Like it was just another big movie, and I loved Ultron, but I mean, I thought the first movie was better. And I was like, I want a break. I didn't see Ant-Man right away. I waited until it came to like a dollar theater by us to get movies kind of like right before they come to Blu-ray and shit. So we went and saw it there for like $1, and I was like, man, Ant-Man was fucking awesome. Like I was totally into it again. And by the time Civil War rolled around, I was fucking ready. And like Deadpool was before that, and Deadpool was fucking awesome. And then Batman v Superman, I was like, man, that sucked. So then Civil War, I was ready.
Yeah. With the Ant-Man, I feel like Marvel does a great job with origin movies.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
Everybody gets tired of origin movies. I'm like, look, I don't know this fucking character. I need to know the origin.
Yeah, and you saying how tired you were getting of it, I recently looked at the timeline of all the movies coming out to fucking 2020. Oh my God. Like, how?
2 more Avengers movies. We got...
For the kids... I get it.
Next year alone is insane. So we got Doctor Strange in November.
Uh-huh.
Next year we get Wolverine, the third Wolverine movie. We get Wonder Woman. We get Justice League. We get Spider-Man.
Okay.
We get, I think there's another one. That's all I can remember.
I don't know, Infinity Wars. But no, that's not tomorrow. That's not next year. But
like next summer has like 4 superhero movies.
Yeah. DC's got a lot of work to do.
And they're doing a fucking shitty job. I'm sorry. You didn't see Suicide Squad, did you?
Not yet.
That was even bigger disappointment than Batman v Superman.
I've been meaning to see it, but I won't pay for it. I'm just waiting for a decent.
They just announced the
rip to come
extended
out
cut
that I could watch.
They just announced the extended cut, and I know I'm going to have to watch it again. 5 minutes into that movie, I turned to my fiance and we looked at each other, just like, because like she was more excited. She loves Margot Robbie. She loved the Harley Quinn character, and she's really into Will Smith. So that was her into the movie.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, let's go see it together. And like literally, they're introducing the characters in the first 5 minutes, and just the editing of the movie and just the way it's going. Like we shared a look, just like we would have left.
Yeah.
So I'm new to buying online tickets. I don't know if when you leave after you bought an online ticket, if you're able to get a refund from the theater.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
yeah, please.
So we didn't leave. But like as soon as they killed the villain, like as soon as that was done, there were still parts of the movie left. I'm like, we're going. Okay. I'm like, the movie's fucking over. I'm out of here.
There you go.
Like, it was so bad.
A lot of people share your sentiment.
I got so angry with both of those movies. It's hard to control myself.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, so I hated Man of Steel.
Okay.
And then Batman v Superman came out, and it made me like Man of Steel because of how bad it was.
Right,
and
I didn't hate Man of Steel.
I hated it.
Maybe it was the Costner. I love me some Costner.
It's a whole podcast about how I hate that movie.
Okay.
Which maybe I'll bring you in when I do that. Cause
sure. I'd have to rewatch it, you know. And,
I actually been wanting to rewatch it because I haven't seen it since it came out, so it'd be a good excuse. Mm-hmm. And then it was like when Batman v Superman came out, it made that movie look good to me. I was like, you know what? Maybe Man of Steel's not so bad. Yeah, and then when Suicide Squad came out, I was like, you know what? Maybe Batman v Superman isn't that bad.
Well, that's not a good...
no.
That's not good when...
They're just going to beat us into submission.
When the next movie they put out is fucking worse than the one before, and you're like, you know, man, I guess Superman wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a good sign of things happening the right way.
It was just... It makes me angry. But they announced the extended edition. I'm going to watch it. Because Suicide Squad, I need to see everything. I need to know. I just need to know.
You know, you said that you enjoyed Deadpool.
Yeah.
And when I watched it the first time around...
I forgot. You did not like that movie.
I wasn't a big fan of it. The jokes just wore on me. I didn't like what was going on with his girlfriend. You know, I just wanted her to die to make him to go make Deadpool, you know, insane, but, you know, in a loony way. I thought... As much as they were breaking the fourth wall, I thought that there should have been more cartoon-esque things going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read a couple Deadpools, and I actually just watched it yesterday again because it's on HBO.
Yeah, we watched it actually in the back room the other day.
It's not bad when you could turn away and not watch a couple of the scenes.
I love that movie,
but
everything about it.
I got my opinion. What are you gonna do? So that's
there's actually a script for Deadpool as well. Maybe that would be a good one because the script is like 70% of what the movie turned out to be. The script leaked in 2010. Mm-hmm. They reworked it a little bit for the movie, but they used that script for the movie.
Gotcha.
So maybe that'd be a good one to bring you back for.
Yeah, I'd be down. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, because honestly, reading it, you'd be surprised at a lot of the swearing in that movie that you thought was ad-libbed is fucking word for word in that script. It's kind of weird reading.
He wrote it, didn't he?
No, these two other guys wrote it. I can't remember their names, but these two guys wrote it. He I think he helped write the final version. Like they kind of the three of them put it together. like he tried so hard to get that movie made. He did everything he could.
Yeah,
so.
I know it's been like 10 years in the making that he's wanted to be that character.
Yeah, like literally the script leaked in 2010. I don't know when it was written, but Wolverine, I think it was 2009, and that was his first time as Deadpool. So that, like, since then, he was trying to get it made. So I know there's stories of like him like sleeping on those guys' couches as they were working on it and shit like that, like possibly putting some of his own money towards it and stuff like that.
Definitely. The guy's fucking rich. He better put some money into it.
That fucking paid off gangbusters for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was the
highest grossing R-rated movie,
ever.
beating out The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, Matrix Reloaded was
the
rated
highest
R?
grossing R-rated movie. Yeah.
Why? I mean, well, that's for another story.
Yeah.
That's for another time. But I don't know what else we could discuss about the Dark Knight. I mean,
I think we pretty much covered it. It would have been a weird movie.
All right. So your final thought on the movie?
It would have been too dark.
Yeah.
I kind of the same complaints everybody has about like Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad.
Right.
Just not enough of the character that we all know and love is there. It's too different. Like, I'm totally fine with different, but it's too different. It's weird, and it's too much like a comic book, and it's weird that the guy who wrote the comic and the movie made it so different.
Yeah, hearing you say that, I think it is a lot like a comic book, but not a very good one.
No.
I'll
be the first to say it. I'm not that big of a Frank Miller fan.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's fucking held up there as a god. I love Year One. It's one of my favorite Batman books.
Yeah.
Everything else, it's like a like-hate for me. There's no other love for me from Frank Miller.
With this movie, I feel like the general public couldn't get into it.
No.
Sitting there watching it on screen, there is some really cool aspects of it. The whole of the movie, I would probably walk out saying, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, like, that was a weird thing. Can't wait to see when they reboot it.
After knowing the cartoon and knowing the comic and going in, I mean, let's say I didn't read the script and going into the movie hoping to see the iconic
I would have walked out
scenes.
like, what the fuck did I just see? Why was Alfred a fucking black mechanic? Like,
why is he
what
a little
is
black
this
mechanic?
movie?
What's going on? Yeah, absolutely. Well, Selena Kyle, Black Dominatrix. I love it. I love it. But
why is Bruce an orphan working at a garage?
Yeah, that's odd. I mean, give me my gadgets. I mean, besides the syringes and the truth serum and him fucking making black tar.
I don't know if you remember. I was going to bring this up earlier. I totally forgot. There's literally a gear up scene where it's him putting on his equipment, and they list the shit that he's like carrying with him, and I just picture somebody just hauling a backpack full of shit on his back, because there's just so much, like, smoke grenades, syringes, blades, not like just all this shit. I'm like, no one person can carry all of this. There's no reference of a utility belt or anything. Like, you're just assuming this shit's like in his cape, like some dude on the corner who moves his coat and has some watches hanging there to sell. Like, how does he carry all this?
No, you're absolutely right. And I know that we're wrapping up here, but one of the small things that I remember was when he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh my God, what do they say? They're saying there's some narration going on, and they say air conditioners, fucking steel grating, fucking windows, skylights. This is the world of the Batman. I'm like, this is the world of the Batman?
Yeah.
Are you air conditioners and skylights? Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, I get what he's always going for, but it's just
definitely.
I just can't see into this dude's mind. Like, it's amazing that he did write the books that he wrote and they became as big as they are. This, I just don't see it.
No, absolutely. And, in a nutshell, the movie sounds interesting. Probably wouldn't be great in the box office. But, you've always got your niche audience. I'm sure people,
it would be
groups.
one of those fun things to collect in the years.
Absolutely.
But, like, Batman Begins was the right way to take it. It's got the right amount of darkness and
Love
humor.
Batman Begins.
Yeah, it's probably the best Batman movie. I mean, The Dark Knight is amazing. But, like, the thing about Dark Knight between Batman Begins for me is Batman Begins, you look at that city, the portrayal of it, and that looks like fucking Gotham City.
Yep.
Dark Knight, I mean, I know we're from Chicago, but to me it looks like Chicago. Everything's nice and clean, and, like
it is a little too clean with the bridges and the fucking.
And then like you see Batman Begins, like, oh, here's the Narrows and there's fucking laundry hanging all over the place. This place looks like a dump.
Right, and they had like a few like CG, I guess, like helicopter scenes to make the Narrows look like. Yeah, some fucked up shit, and then everything is grungy. Yeah, so
that's a good grunge is the best way. Like Batman Begins looks grungy. Dark Knight it's a very polished, clean movie.
Yeah, he's standing on the fucking Sears Tower with his fucking binoculars. Awesome cinematography, but not.
I mean, The Dark Knight's an incredible fucking movie. I'm not going to sit here and say it, but to me, Batman Begins is the epitome of a Batman movie.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think that's all I got. We've been going for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. I have social media. Do you do social media? Do you want to plug anything? Twitter, Facebook, or anything? Do you care about any of that?
No, I guess so. I'm always looking to, I have 55 followers on Twitter, and I could always get more. I constantly watch my Twitter. Not true, but a little bit. At Zerpelman. It's like Purple Man, but with a Z. Okay. So at Zerpelman, you could see me there. I'm eating a sandwich. I got my Colt Cabana shit on.
God, I love that picture.
Send me a tweet.
The picture hanging on the fridge right next to us.
Yeah, there it is. And I'll get back to you if I have time. I have 55 followers, so I gotta talk to everybody.
You're about to have 56.
And oh yeah, all right. And for yourself, Jeremy, this has been an honor. I want to thank you for letting me on.
No problem. This has been
letting
awesome.
me on the first, or I guess it's the 1.5 maybe.
This will definitely. I mean, Berto recorded the episode 0, but that was more of an explanation. This is the first actual episode. Well, and this will probably be the first one that goes up.
Listen, I had a lot of fun. I had a good time reading this script, my first script about Batman, something I really enjoy. Yeah. And, I appreciate it. I hope to be back on.
I mean, I've already given you the next script, and we'll talk about that in the future.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me. It's been real great, everybody. Thanks for listening. Everybody.